The President of the United States said that any bill that comes across his desk is going to be vetoed if it includes any funding to help the United States Postal Service. So I wrote this letter to your senator so that they would understand the truth that they need to know in order to make the kind of decision that Americans expect them to. Dear Senator, I work for the United States Postal Service. Recently, I launched a campaign for the presidency of the American Postal Workers Union as a platform to talk about, among other things, the charge that the Postal Service has been losing between $1 to $5 on every package delivered through the Last Mile program. Most Americans cannot know what the Last Mile program looks like at the ground level where I execute these contracts as a postal clerk. Please accept this illuminating perspective to share with your Senate colleagues. As a matter of the 2006 Postal Accountability and Enhancement Act, the pricing schedule from which the United States Postal Service operates is established by the Postal Regulatory Commission and must respect, quote, the requirement that each class of mail or type of mail service bear the direct and indirect postal costs attributable to each class or type of mail service through reliably identified casual relationships plus that portion of all other costs of the Postal Service reasonably assignable to such class or type, end quote. The President of the United States can be comfortable knowing that 4 of the 5 current commissioners are his appointees, selected to assure this paragraph is respected. As proof that it is, USPS pricing has increased multiple times during his leadership. The PRC must prove, for example, that the price collected to send a 1-ounce package from Arizona to Philadelphia includes the cost for the letter carrier and a USPS mail truck to retrieve the package from the Arizona customer's mailbox. It must cover the cost to bring it in a mail truck to the post office of the sending customer's zip code. It must cover the cost of handling the package at the post office, where it is dispatched to a regional facility to be sorted and routed with other packages and mail for a trip across the country to another regional facility, where it is unloaded, sorted, and dispatched to the post office of the recipient's zip code. At the recipient's zip code, it is retrieved and sorted for delivery to a mailbox along the letter carrier's route with other mail for the same address. The trip this package takes covers 2,300 miles. The package is handled by USPS equipment and tracked through every step by USPS information technology. Such a trip involves 4 facilities, 5 different trucks, and the man-hour contributions from a dozen or more USPS employees. The fuel, the truck expense, the mortgages and rents of the regional facilities and post offices, the electricity for the buildings, and all the wages and benefits of the workers is assured to be covered for this trip by the pricing of President-appointed and Senate-approved PRC commissioners. All of this can be done without losses for as little as $4.20. By contrast, most of those same expenses for our last mile customers' packages are paid for by them, right up to the point where their employee unloads their truck at a USPS post office for final delivery to the customer. Usually, a worker who is paid by the last mile partner will bring the package inside the post office, carrying it to the exact place where a postal worker asks them to drop it. Then, a USPS clerk will take it from a pallet or other equipment and put it into a letter carrier's package hamper. The performance rate expected for this event is to be financially sound is set at 250 pieces per hour, and nobody I know works that slow. The expense for the clerk to handle each last mile package, including wages and benefits, is less than 15 cents. The letter carrier, who in a rural setting is paid by the day, not by the hour, will then remove the package from the hamper and deliver it to a customer in a USPS truck already destined to the address, adding negligible additional expense.
This means At a rural post office the letter carrier will cost the same, no added expense, whether they deliver 200 packages or 2. Total USPS direct expense so far? 15 cents.
The USPS knows exactly the expense of each element of a letter carrier's delivery, right down to the stopwatch recordings of the time it takes to walk from their specific workspace to the hamper where the clerk put the package. USPS has this information recorded for every individual letter carrier working within every facility for every mail route at every zip code served by the U.S. Mail. The total handling time for the clerk and the letter carrier involved in executing the last mile agreements should total less than 2 minutes per package. The people setting prices know their costs in ways unimaginable for most American businesses. In the last mile, they do not add up to $1 to $5 in losses. For our last mile customers to take 1 ounce packages into communities where they only make 2 or 6 stops is not profitable. Instead, our customers pay USPS a fair price that the 2006 Postal Act says should account for, quote, the degree of preparation of mail for delivery into the postal system performed by the mailer and its effect upon reducing costs to the Postal Service, end quote. And with consideration for, quote, the effect of rate increases upon the general public, business mail users, and enterprises in the private sector of the economy engaged in the delivery of mail other than letters. As I campaign for the presidency for the 200,000 member APWU, I will talk about the $26.9 billion annually that is possible if we just trended the letter prices of our top European trading partners, which is something a privatized company would have to do for their shareholder returns. I intend to talk about the more modest $8 billion annually we could earn with no additional manpower or expense just by trending average household incomes of Americans. But for now, if the last mile losses stand as the reason you're going to reject help for the United States Postal Service pandemic, it is important to know what it is you truly have at hand. I work in the Pennsylvania mushroom country. Most often when people visit here for the first time, they ask, what's that smell? When I hear why the USPS shouldn't receive critical funding during this pandemic, it's my nose, not my ears, that gives me the best sense of what we do have here. If you're a senator, you need to do the right thing. You need to save the United States Postal Service.
This is a good time to ask your senator what they represent. Will they force the president's veto, keeping the COVID-19 relief in the bill to show their voters that they've earned the vote? Some might feel the coattails they cling to during an election year might be less sound of something to grip, than the quality of life that has been promised constitutionally to the citizen owners who couldn't be more satisfied. We can talk about the real problem, but we also must let them know this is their moment of truth with us. Make the president veto, and then come back and vote the will of your 92% approving voting public. That is how you win elections. That's how we use our footprint to effect change. www.apwu.org. Go there, and a link makes it easy to tell your senator how you'd like his vote to show now, so yours can be decided for November.